So, in your syllabus, it is mentioned that draft of a Constitution of India, right? So, framing of Constitution of India. So, here in this lecture, I am going to explain about the framing of Constitution of India. Okay, na? So, for your exam, they may ask you the question like explain the framing of Constitution of India. Otherwise, they will ask you explain the Constituent Assembly. Okay, na? Actually, the thought of preparing Constitution of India was actually developed by the M.N. Roy. He was the communist leader. In 1935, he was started. So, for India, it is better to frame a draft a Constitution of India. From 1935 onwards, next Jawaharlal Nehru also initiated this one in Indian National Congress, right? Like that, finally, the Constitution of India, drafting of the Constitution of India was started from 1946 with the help of the Constituent Assembly. Now, see here, I'll give you the important points here. Okay, for your exam, you just go through these points. Okay, remember these points and write there. So, if they ask you the question like explain the framing Constitution of India, or explain the drafting committee, or explain the drafting of Constitution of India, or explain the Constitution Assembly, for all type of questions, if you write these important points, that is more than enough for your exam. Now, see here, this is the Constituent Assembly. So, these are the people, they framed, drafted, written the Constitution of India, right? See, the Constituent Assembly was formed in 1946. The Constitution Assembly was formed in 1946 for the purpose of making independent India's constitution. So, first of all, they framed assembly, one assembly, to form, to prepare, to write, to draft the Constitution of India. First, they formed a Constituent Assembly. So, this is the Constituent Assembly. This was developed in 1946. Okay. Now, we'll see in this assembly, okay, in this Constituent Assembly, 389 members were there. 389 members were there. Okay, the Constituent Assembly consists of 389 members, out of which 296 were selected or elected from the princely legislative assemblies. And 93 members were nominated by the princely states. See, in India, before independence, some regions are ruled by the princes. Some regions are ruled by the princes, let us say Nizam rule, let us say Mysore rule, okay. Like that, some places in India are ruled by the princes. So, these princes send some people through their representation. There we call it as a princely states nominated members. 93 members are nominated by the princes. Remaining 296 were elected from the different parts of India. Okay, 296 were elected from the different parts of India. Okay, they are already before 1947, there are some areas, the elections are there, princely elected members are there, they are participating to prepare this drafting committee. Now, the first day, when was the first day? December 9th, 1946. This is the photography. This is actually December 9th, 1946 of the Constituent Assembly. So, from right, B.C. Kher, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, K.M. Munshi, okay, no? These are the prime members in this drafting of the Constitution of India. Now see here, Dr. Sachidananda Simha, he was the person, okay, first president but temporary for the Constituent Assembly. See, remember, for this Constituent Assembly, the first president is Dr. Sachidananda Simha, but he was temporary. Okay, now, so this was done actually on December 9th, 1946. Later, Dr. Rajendra Prasad became the president of the Constituent Assembly. So after this Sachidananda Simha, he was a temporary president. Then permanent president of the Constituent Assembly was Dr. Rajendra Prasad. So remember, Dr. Rajendra Prasad became the first president of Constituent Assembly. Okay, na? First president of Constituent Assembly. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar became the chairperson of its drafting committee. Okay, on December 11th, 1946. Remember, who is the president of the Constituent Assembly? Permanent president, Dr. Rajendra Prasad. Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar, B.R. Ambedkar become the chairman of the drafting committee. Okay, now, so these people were elected by the Constituent Assembly. Now, let us consider the Constituent Assembly. Okay, the Assembly passes a resolution in 1947 January defining the objective of the Constitution. Okay, so in January 1947, the Constituent Assembly, the members were passed a resolution. So what is that objectives? You can see here, to set up a Union of India comprising of British India and princely states. So to set up Union of India includes, in 1947, Union of India includes the princely states and the British India. Combining both will give you Union of India. So they are going to set up a Union of India, right? To set up federal form of government with a separate state and central governments. So remember, our government is a federal form of government actually. Central government is there, state government is there, right? So they were planning to set up a federal form of government. To set up a democracy in which all powers is derived from the people. Democracy. To set up a democracy which means rules or powers derived from the people. Okay, where all the people are guaranteed justice, equality and freedom. So they want to develop a constitution so that the people will get justice, equality and freedom, right? Where minorities, depressed classes and the tribals' rights are protected. So the main objective of this is to develop, okay, the people in giving guarantee to the justice, equality and freedom, and protect the rights of minorities, depressed classes and tribal classes. Okay, tribal classes, and to protect the integrity of India and her sovereign rights over land and sea and air. Okay, integrity of India means like India is surrounded by water also, right? India is having land, so we have complete powers, right? So to protect the sovereign integrity of India, to help India attain its rightful place in the world and work for peace and welfare of all mankind. So these are the objectives of the Constitution of India, okay, Constitution or the Constituent Assembly. Okay, so remember, sometimes they may ask you what are the objectives passed, a resolution passed by the Constituent Assembly. So these are the objectives. So first objective, you remember, Union of India. Okay, Union of India, it comprises of British India and princely state. Second, set up a federal form of government. So federal form of government means it's nothing but a state government and central government. Set up a state government and central government. And set up a democracy means the powers taken from the people, powers given by the people actually. So these points you remember for your exam. If you remember these points, you can frame a sentence and you can write. So within the democracy, so you should protect the people. Okay, guarantee, you should give the guarantee to the guaranteed in terms of like justice, equality and freedom. where minorities and depressed classes must be protected. Minorities and depressed classes must be protected, and integrity of India, okay, to protect integrity of India and our sovereignty, okay, integrity of India and sovereign rights over the land, okay, air and water. To help India attain rightful peace and welfare of all mankind. So these are the points you should remember for your exam. So what are these? These are the resolutions, objectives, you can say, resolutions in 1947 passed by the Constituent Assembly, right? So I discussed about the Constituent Assembly, right? In 1947, on July 4th, remember, on July 4th, 1947, okay, the Viceroy announced the partition plan on radio. See, so after a long time, the fight with the British, finally they announced that freedom of India, but during that process, they announced that partition of India. So on radio, they announced actually on July 4th, 1947. So that was actually the Independence Act 1947. The Independence Act 1947. You can see the paper, the Times of India at that time, okay, after announcing the freedom of India, okay, India's independence. Now you can see here, according to this plan, okay, India was divided into two sovereign states. One is Pakistan, second is India. Okay, we call it as a Mountbatten plan, we call it as, okay. And British control over India would come to end on 15th August 1947. So the British control over India was going to end on 15th August 1947. The princely states, means in India, some princely states were there. These princely states ruled by the princes, kings. So they gave the British, gave options, either you can join in India or you can join in Pakistan, right? So the princely states were given the options to join one or other country. Suppose you take, during that time, the 1947, the Hyderabad was ruled by the Nizam. So the Nizam princely state actually was planning to join in Pakistan because it is a large Muslim community area. So they was planning to join in Pakistan, but the thing was not happened because the Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel was attacked, this converted into India. Okay, now, so the princely states were given the two options. One is either you can join in Pakistan or you can join in India, right? Now, the changes by the Independence Act 1947. So, see, this Constituent Assembly was framed in 1946. This India's Independence Act was in 1947, right? So, there are some changes in the Constituent Assembly during this framing of the Constitution. So, we will see those changes. The Assembly was made fully sovereign body. Okay, the Assembly was made fully sovereign body. The Act empowered to the Assembly to abrogate or alter any laws made by the British Parliament in relation to the India. So before 1947, the India was ruled by the British. So the rules came from the British Parliament actually. So if they want to change these rules, if they want to remove those rules, the Constituent Assembly have full powers. After 1947, India's Independence Act, the Constituent Assembly have full powers to abrogate, means removing those rules, removing or changing those rules. This was given by the British India, or developed or given these rules by the British Parliament. So the Constituent Assembly got full powers to frame its own constitution, to frame its own rules, to abrogate or to remove the rules developed by this British Parliament, right? Now, the assembly also become a legislative body with the two functions. See, the assembly, whole assembly has converted into two legislative bodies. One is making constitution for free India. One legislative assembly body is making constitution for free India. The president for this is Dr. Rajendra Prasad. Enacting ordinary laws for the country, that is was developed by G.V. Mavlankar. Okay, so the Constituent Assembly was divided into two parts. One part is for making constitution, another part is for making laws or framing laws, local laws, ordinary laws. Now, Assembly became the first parliament of free India. Remember, the Constituent Assembly was the first parliament of India. See, before 1947, the Muslim League members were also there in Constituent Assembly. But after this independence, after the partition of India and Pakistan, the Muslim League members they removed the charge, like they withdrawn the membership from this Constituent Assembly. Okay, the Muslim League members from Pakistan withdraw from the Constituent Assembly, so that the total strength of the assembly came down to 299. See, previously the total strength is, remember, the total strength is 389 members. 389 members were there. In that 389 members, Muslim League members are also there. But after partition of India and Pakistan, the Muslim League members from the Pakistan, especially from the Pakistan region, especially like Jinnah, they withdrawn their membership from the Constituent Assembly. So, after withdrawing these members, got down to 299. So, Constituent Assembly strength at this point after independence 299. Okay, na? 299. Right. So, the Constituent Assembly also performs some other functions. So, we will see what are those functions. Now, it ratified the India's membership of the Commonwealth in May 1949. So, after independence, we are also a member in Commonwealth countries. So, we had ratified in May 1949, right? And it adopted the national flag on July 22nd, 1947. So, August 15, 1947, we got complete freedom. So, before that, we adapted the national flag. See, the national flag was developed by the person Sri Pingali Venkaya Garu. Okay, na? Right? And it adopted the national anthem on January 24, 1950. So, after independence, we adopted the national anthem. This was written by the Rabindranath Tagore. And national song, okay, adopted the national song on January 24, 1950. The national song was written by the Bankim Chandra Chatterjee. Right? Right? So, it elected Dr. Rajendra Prasad as the first president of India on January 24, 1950. So, these are the factual data for your exam. You no need to remember the dates, but you can say what are the functions of the Constituent Assembly. You can also say that the Constituent Assembly ratified as a membership in Commonwealth nations. The Constituent Assembly adopted the national flag, national anthem and national song. Like that you can write. Okay, na? Right. See, the committees of the Constituent Assembly, different committees are there, their chairmen are there. Here, what are the different committees? Union Power Committee, the chairman is J.L. Nehru, Jawaharlal Nehru. The Union Constitution Committee, J.L. Nehru. Drafting Committee, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Okay. Provincial Constitution Committee, Sardar Patel. Advisory Committee, Sardar Patel. Rules of Procedure Committee, Dr. Rajendra Prasad. States Committee, Committee for Negotiating with the States, Jawaharlal Nehru. Steering Committee, Dr. Rajendra Prasad. So these are the different committees. For your exam point of view, you no need to remember these committees, but there are different committees are there. Sometimes they may give you what are the different names of the committees in the process of drafting Constitution of India. So sometimes they may ask you, so at least you remember for your exam 4-5. Union Power Committee, Union Constitution Committee, Drafting Committee, right, Advisory Committee, Rules of Procedure Committee, like that. If you remember, that is more than enough for your exam. Right, the members in the Drafting Committee, see, these are the main members. They are prepared, they written the drafting of the Constitution of India. Okay, simple language you can say, they wrote the Constitution of India. The 5 members, majorly 7 members are there here. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, N. Gopalaswamy Iyengar, Alladi Krishnaswamy Iyer, Dr. K.M. Munshi, Syed Muhammad Sadullah, and Madhava Rao, and T. Krishnamachari. So these are the people, they are the members in the drafting committee. So sometimes they may ask you who are the members in the drafting committee, like that. That's why I gave the names in the drafting committee. Right. Now see here, the enactment of the Constitution. So the Constitution was enacted. Okay, the Constitution was adopted on November 26th, 1949. Okay, the Constitution as adopted on November 26th, 1949. It contains, the Constitution contains preambles. Okay, the original Constitution contains preamble, 395 articles, and 8 schedules. Okay, the original Constitution contains preambles, 395 articles, and 8 schedules. The third reading of the draft stated as November 14th, 1949. You no need to remember this. And Dr. B.R. Ambedkar moved a motion. The Constitution was settled by the Assembly passed. So after 1949, November 14th, the B.R. Ambedkar passed a resolution regarding this one, and it was passed. The motion on the draft Constitution was declared passed on 26th November. Okay, the motion was done on 14th November, and it was passed on 26th November after reading all these things, and received a signature of members and president. Out of total 299 members of the Assembly, only 284 were present on that day and signed. So in the original Constitution, 284 members were signed. Okay, adopted and signed. So this is the factual data for your exam. You can remember the factual data, especially this one. Okay, the original Constitution consists of preambles, 395 articles, and 8 schedules. Okay, this was declared as a passed on 26th November 1949. Okay, 26th November 1949, this was declared as a passed. Okay, now, so this is the information about the framework of the Constitution of India. Right. So I explained about the drafting of a Constitution of India. Especially I explained about a Constituent Assembly. So what is Constituent Assembly, how it was developed, how many members are there, right? After getting independence, okay, how many members are there, what are the functions or resolutions of a Constituent Assembly, all these things I explained, right? So for your exam point of view, from this topic, especially the framing of Constitution of India, from this topic, what type of questions they will ask you? See, here I gave 2 questions. The question like, what is Constituent Assembly, and explain resolutions and functions of Constituent Assembly. So if you write like 5-6 points, 6-7 points, about this Constituent Assembly functions, okay, members, all these things, that is more than enough. Explain the constituent role of Constituent Assembly in drafting Constitution of India. So mostly they will ask you questions regarding this Constituent Assembly, right? So remember the Constituent Assembly, regarding the Constituent Assembly functions, okay, you should read all these points: Union of India, federal form of government, democracy like justice, equality and freedom, and minorities and depressed classes rights are protected, and integrity of India, sovereign rights and rightful peace and welfare of all kind. These are the different resolutions taken by the Constituent Assembly before going to drafting of this Constitution of India, right? You should go through these things. And also after Independence Act 1947, what are the changes in Constitution of India? You can also mention, if you remember, like partition of the India and Pakistan. India is divided into India and Pakistan. After that, Muslim League members are withdrawn their membership from the Constitution of India. So the functions, two functions the Constitution of India is having: making Constitution of Free India and enactment of ordinary laws, right? So after that, if you go through these points, that is more than enough. The Constitution, the Constituent Assembly adopted national flag, national anthem and national song. So that is the more than enough for your exam point of view.